Welcome to Career Success Strategies, Lesson 3, Part 2, Creating and Sharing Your Resume. We're going to be covering a lot of content in this lesson, so remember, you can pause the video at any time to take notes or to rewatch a specific section of the video. Now, let's get into the lesson. After you have logged into your email, we'll need to go into your Google Drive to get your cheat sheet that you completed in Computer Skills class. You will need your cheat sheet for this lesson as it has the necessary information to create your resume. First, you're going to left-click once on the Google Apps icon in the top right-hand corner of your screen. A menu is going to drop down. In that menu, look for the Google Drive icon and left-click on that once. The Google Drive icon looks like a multicolored triangle. You should see a folder on your screen that says Job Search Materials after you left-click on the Google Drive icon. You should have created this folder in Computer Skills class. Here, you will find your cheat sheet. Next, you're going to open up your cheat sheet in Google Docs by doing a double left-click on the icon. Now, you'll want to make a copy of your cheat sheet. To do that, click where it says File in the top left-hand corner of your screen. A menu will drop down where you will choose Make a Copy. Left-click once where it says Make a Copy. Then, this window will open up and you'll want to rename the document. Google Drive will automatically rename your document as Copy of. You will instead type in Resume Builder 2020. You will notice that Google Drive automatically changes the title of the Google document. You'll want to keep this tab open because we'll be using it in the future. Now, you'll want to go back to your email inbox and find the resume template email that I sent to you. Your email should be open up in a different tab on the same window you have open. Once you're in your email and you've opened up the email from me, you'll see that there's an attachment at the bottom that says Resume Template 2020. Click on the third icon that looks like a pencil to open up the template in Google Docs. The icons will show up when you hover your mouse over the attachment. Refer to the screenshot on the right. This is what you should be looking at. When you left-clicked once on that pencil icon, it automatically opened up the resume template in Google Docs. Next, we are going to give your resume a title. Left-click once in the small text box where it will say Resume Template 2020. Hold down the left click and drag to highlight Resume Template 2020 and then hit backspace on the keyboard. Next, you're going to type in your first name, your last name, the word resume, and 2020. For example, mine would be James Murray Resume 2020. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about split screen mode. Split screen mode is a good way to work, especially when you're doing a lot of copying and pasting. What you're going to do is left click once on the tab that has your resume and hold down that left click and drag it out of that window. Next, you're going to hold down the logo key and the right or the left arrow depending on where you want that window to be. If you need help, you can always ask a computer lab assistant when you're finishing your resume at a later date. Now, what we're going to do is plug the information from your cheat sheet into the resume template. Remember that you're going to be doing it from the resume builder that we created, which is actually a copy of your cheat sheet. So what you're going to be doing is copying and pasting one line at a time into the template. I'm asking you to do a lot of copying and pasting. If you need a refresher, take a pause to review the information on this slide. Remember that there are two ways to copy and paste. You can use the keyboard shortcuts, Control-C and Control-V, or you can use your mouse. Now, the most important thing about your resume is that it's easy to read and it looks professional. Like I just mentioned, you're going to use the information on your Resume Builder 2020 to create a new resume, which you've already created when you open up that template, by plugging the information into and following the template. Use the transferable skills handout and what we learned from part 1 of this lesson for ideas on how to phrase your experience and qualifications. But you may find that you still have some questions. How far back should I go on my resume? 10 years is the general recommendation. Exceptions can be made if you have relevant experience going back farther than 10 years, in which case you would create an additional section on your resume. What if there is a gap in my work history? Don't undersell your experience. Off the books, part-time work, and home care are all valid experiences to list on a resume. In a lot of cases, there are creative ways to fill a gap. What if I was incarcerated within the past 10 years? Remember that work experiences and skills or certifications you obtain while incarcerated are valuable. We recommend listing it on your resume, but don't worry. At a later date, we will discuss how to address questions about your criminal background. Some further questions that often come up. What if I am currently working towards a certification, but I haven't gotten it yet? You can still list it on your resume, but make sure that you type the word pending after the name of the certification. What should I focus on? I'm worried I may not have enough time to complete the whole thing. Your skills summary is very important. Enter in as much information as possible there. For the job description section, focus on the dates, location, job title, and company name. Don't worry if you don't have enough time to fill in each job description completely. If you still find yourself having questions, you can always speak with a member of the Career Development and Graduate Services team. We are always happy to answer questions about resume formatting and content. So, once you have entered in as much information as possible into your resume, you are going to share it with me via Google Docs. Having a Google Docs version of your resume is good because you can edit or update it and it saves automatically. When it is shared with me, I will also be able to provide feedback, edits, and updates for you. We will now go through the step-by-step process for sharing your resume as a Google Doc. Once you've filled in your resume as much as you possibly can, you're going to share it with me. The first step is look for a blue rectangle in the top right-hand corner of your screen with the word Share in it. Left-click once on this button. After you left-click on the Share button, this window will pop up. In this window, you'll type my email address in the space where it says Enter Names or Email Addresses. You'll type in my email address, jmurray@doe.org, and then you're going to hit Enter on the keyboard. This is what you should see next. The last step is you're going to click on the blue rectangular Send button in the bottom left-hand corner. After you click on that, congratulations, you have just successfully shared a Google Doc version of your resume with me. Now we're going to talk about other ways in which you can share your resume. You'll want to know how to share your resume in different ways, not just as a Google Doc. One of the most important tools to have in your back pocket when job searching is being able to send your resume to an employer in different formats. Some might ask you to share it as a Google Doc, but most of the time employers will ask you to send it as a Word document or a PDF. You might bump into someone who's working at a company that you're interested in, or maybe a friend of yours has a connection. 9 times out of 10, they'll give you a person's contact information and tell you to send in a resume. You'll want to be able to do that yourself, quickly and efficiently, so you don't miss out on an opportunity. So how do I actually share my resume as a Word document and a PDF? First, you're going to go to the top left-hand corner and choose File. That menu is going to drop down. From that menu, you're going to click on where it says Email as Attachment. After you click on Email as Attachment, this window is going to pop up. Choose Microsoft Word. Then you're going to enter in my email address and hit Send. Then you're going to do the exact same thing, but instead of clicking on Microsoft Word, you're going to click on PDF. That concludes Lesson 3, Part 2, Creating and Sharing Your Resume. Return to the Google Classroom classwork page and complete the Lesson 3, Part 2 assessment. Thank you for your time, and good luck with the assessment.